Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this newest installation of the Star Wars Stuff podcast. My name is David.
And my name is James. And here we talk about all things Star Wars. But before we get started, we have some people to thank. So take it away, David.
Yes, starting off with our top tier Patreon supporters out there: Liam McCallan, Kevin Leininger, Den McCaffrey, Zach Netzel, Maya Morris, Adam Haber, Front Row King, Cam from Indiana, Mariana Tia Arnold, Rest Jedi 27, Alex Blundell, Indiana Solo, BC Doomit, and Sean Smith. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
supporting the podcast, helping us buy some swag. I actually got some new stickers in today.
Ooh, oh, that's right.
They're right here. They're clear stickers. So you guys helped us buy them. And
Yes.
also, we got some Space Con magnets.
Ooh.
Pretty nice. So,
Getting
yeah.
ready.
Thank you so much for all your awesome support. And LegionSabers.com also. We will be out in Las Vegas at the end of the month at Level Up Con at their booth doing a live podcast. So come over, check us out. We're going to have swag. We're going to have stickers. Who knows what else? I think Mary's going to bring some buttons. I know buttons were a big hit at one of the cons we infamously had an encounter at. So yeah, go to LegionSabers.com, type in the code STUFF at checkout. You can get 15% off, and they got awesome lightsabers. And it's one of those things where, okay, you go to LegionSabers.com and you look at the lightsabers, like, okay, well, yeah, it looks like a lightsaber from the movie, okay, but when you have it in your hand, if you go to our booth in Las Vegas, have it in your hand, you're just like, I'm holding a piece of my childhood, or I'm holding a piece of movie history, and they're awesome. The blades, certain blades are indestructible. Awesome to play with. You'll probably see me and James hopefully be sparring with them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like if you see someone twirling a lightsaber around, it's gonna be us at the Legion Saber booth, because that's what we did at SpaceCon a couple of years ago. David and I were just messing around with those lightsabers, which sounds weird to say, but that's seriously what we were doing. We were just it was awesome. And I know we talk every time we bring them up, we talk about them because they're that great. I promise they are amazing. I'm gonna put my thing back on. I know we talked on not putting. I'm gonna put it back on. We had a little experiment beforehand. Okay, there we go.
Off.
I know. I felt weird. It felt really strange that I had it off.
So
And people listening to us are gonna be like, what was he taking? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Like,
there he is.
I'm raw dogging it.
But yeah. So Maul Shadow Lord is gonna be released next week. And so let me ask you a question. Are you hyped? Or were you hyped when you heard about this show, or were you kind of just like, we'll see how this goes?
Okay, so for me, it's a struggle a little bit, because I know we had the transition of power from Kathleen Kennedy to Filoni and Linwin, but it still seems like we're on the kind of path of just having stuff supplied to us that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, in that they can provide so many other things that are not even talked about. Or, I mean, you figure they're talked about behind the scenes and all that, but there's so many things they can give us that we're just kind of waiting for and waiting for and waiting for. Stuff that has even been announced at previous celebrations that we haven't heard any news of. They haven't casted anything. So it's like, okay, we're getting Maul. Okay, Maul's a cool character. Sam Witwer is cool. I mean, he can do the voice. I mean, he's awesome. He totally gets Maul. He totally gets the lore. I've always predicted that Sam Witwer might be one of the higher ups like Filoni. He's just that knowledgeable. He's knowledgeable in other franchises as well. But I've seen the guy do trivia. I've seen his encyclopedic knowledge on display. Awesome guy, awesome actor. So up to this point, I'll admit that I wasn't really hyped, but Craig 5 sent us an X post, and I was like, that's what I kind of want in this thing. And we can read that later on. But I know a lot of people that listen to us maybe aren't kind of caught up with what Maul is and like the timeline and what characters are going to appear, that type of thing. So when I get hyped about something, I'm always going to want a podcast about it. And this post that I read that we'll read later on, we'll see if you also get hyped. But usually when it's the show about the evil person or the evil villain or whatever, it still turns out to be on the light side. And from what
Oh
I
yeah,
read, that's really not the case.
which is good.
So I'm that hypes me up. I mean, we're in this bubble where we know kind of the ins and outs of like the marketing and the shareholders and all that stuff, and the fact that they don't make as much money on Disney Plus as they do on the releasing anything in the theater, which is also great too. I think it's a shame that we don't get at least one movie every 2 years or every year. I think the public can handle it, but it's just there's such a huge stable of stuff that they can give us before we do ancillary things. Mall's really not ancillary, but it's like there's other stuff that they could have given us. But I'm still excited, and we'll go into detail about it. There's some people watching us on YouTube, and Miss Lovely Pie says, "You both Americans? Are you American?"
Is that a statement or is that a question?
I think it's a question.
I think it's a question. Yes,
Yeah.
we're actually both Texans. If that makes a difference. So,
Son of
but
a Wookiee says, "Hey guys."
so I had the good fortune, and Mary was actually there. We went to the Lucasfilm animation panel back in April of last year where they showed us the trailer for Maul Shadow Lord, and everyone was screaming, everyone was yelling, and I much like you, I was kind of like, okay, Maul is a great character. Maul is one of the coolest characters George Lucas has created in Star Wars, but we've seen him already come back a few times. At the end of Phantom Menace, you and me and everyone else in the world was like, man, you just introduced the coolest looking villain and you killed him off. And it was very, very upsetting. And so when we got to Clone Wars and he came back, it was like, oh my gosh, can they do that? You know what I mean? Like you had this like you had this thought like, does it make sense? And it did make sense. And he has an incredible arc in Clone Wars. I mean, amazing. And then even the finals, episode of Clone Wars, it's incredible. And then you get to Rebels, and then you finish it off, and it's such a good, like, man, that's a great journey for Maul. Like the ending of that with Rebels, I was very, very happy. So I was a little taken aback that they're exploring Maul again. But it looks I don't know, the last little trailer they released, it was either today or yesterday. It got me hyped with how they're gonna tell the story and how kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like unhinged Maul is at this point. And it sounds like it's gonna be pretty good. And I'm a little excited, a lot more excited than I was earlier for it. Oh, there's a conversation going on YouTube right now.
Yeah, son of a Wookiee. That's Matt from Australia. I think we met
Oh,
him in
hey.
Japan. Yeah.
Yes.
I
Thank you
think
for
we sent a
joining.
shirt to him in Australia, and I think Mary sent Yoda's mini saber
Lightsaber.
to him. Yeah.
Hopefully he has it because then we match. I mean, not matching, but I got Dooku's here from Mary. So yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
why
I
she was
don't
like,
have
I don't
any.
like the lightsaber. I was like, you don't like Dooku's lightsaber? I'll take the lightsaber. But yeah, close your eyes and remember that one time, Dave, or the first time you saw Darth Maul in the promos back in like 98, 99. Do you
Entertainment Tonight.
remember? Do you remember that? Like that
I
was
do.
insane.
I do. I remember it like it was yesterday because it
Yeah.
was just such an event for me because we got Star Wars finally after all these years.
Yep.
Um, and I mean, it was there was like just so much distraction and so many like you just got to take everything in, and it was difficult because I was like, I'm gonna have to like flip it to channel 3, turn on the VCR, hit play because I
Yep.
just recorded it because I
Mhm.
saw just, I mean, just so much was bombarding my brain. The thing that I captured more so than his face was the double-bladed lightsaber, and I
That
was
was
like, "Wait a minute,
huge.
that doesn't work." A lot like what people said with Kylo Ren's saber. I was like, "You're gonna
Yeah.
chop yourself in half. How are you gonna wield that thing?" And of course, we saw exactly how he wielded it. Um, just never thought about it. I didn't have friends that
But
ever thought about it. My family never thought about it. No one ever brought that up. I don't think it was in Legends, right? No one
no,
had a
this was the
double-bladed,
first
yeah,
time
the first appearance. That's huge. That was
it
huge.
for me, it was a quick shot. It was the shot of him blocking the lightsabers, from behind him with, him and Obi-Wan Kenobi fighting, like, that was the first clip I ever saw, and I remember just going like, "Oh my gosh, you mean you can have 2 blades on a lightsaber and you can fight 2 people at the same time?" And we were getting and then even in the trailer back in the day, if you remember, it looked faster, like, the fighting was like, "Whoa, this looks completely different than what we were used to seeing in 4, 5,
Yeah.
and 6." And I'll never forget that moment in the theater when the door opened up and there's Maul standing there blocking them. And I just remember my brothers and I, we were like, "Oh, this is it. This
About to
is the
go
moment."
down.
It's a and then he takes and you see the horns, and I was like, for a kid, mind you, like I said, I was 10 years old.
Mhm.
That was everything, and then he pulls out the blade, and you see the first blade and the second blade turn on, and then Kenobi does a flip, which I was like, "Okay, we're doing, like, cool flips." I know Luke did a few, but you know what I mean, but this was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
okay," and then just the quickness of them fighting, I remember that was everything for me back in 1999, and man, that was great. That was a great moment. And then were you like I said earlier, were you shocked when he came back in Clone Wars? Or were you like were you kind of thinking, "All right, guys, you're trying to make up for killing him off." You know what I mean? Or was that your thought, or were you just like, "Wow, they brought him back?"
What came first, Clone Wars or the Spider Legs?
That was the same thing.
Okay, it came at the same time.
Because he's introduced with so Savage finds him and he's like crazy and he has the spider legs.
So,
And
I think I saw the Spider Legs on an action figure or, like, some type of design, not in Clone Wars. Because when Clone Wars came out, I was just, like, newly married, so I couldn't do any Star Wars and had a baby. So I didn't have any cable either, so I couldn't watch Cartoon Network to keep up with it.
mhm.
I tried, but I had to return my DVR to whatever it was at the time. What was it? Time Warner?
Yeah.
And yeah, that was heartbreaking, but I had to do it. Um, but yeah, when I found out about the notion of Maul with the spider legs, I was like, "Oh man, this one's good." They're good. They don't have any new ideas. Maul is cool, but to put spider legs on him, I was like, "Well, I guess you gotta get away with it because it's an alien. It's not a humanoid species." And yeah, okay. I mean, he didn't die. He fell like a great, great distance in a chasm,
Mhm.
and I'm like, "Okay, sure, um, we're going there." But yeah, that's kind of the issue with Star Wars, right? I mean, if you kill off these characters, it's like you there's
That's it.
opportunities to bring them back, and I think everyone's kind of over the whole Maul living and surviving, and he's back, and such a great looking character, beloved character, which
Yeah,
is a little odd to say, but everyone wants him back, and now we have Sam Witwer to voice him in animation. He does a terrific job, terrific voice actor, like we kind of summarized Sam Witwer earlier. Um, it's it's Star Wars doing the Star Wars thing, filling in the gap, so to speak. I would prefer live action always, but this animation looks really nice. It's
yeah,
very
they've
interesting. It's almost like a hybrid
yes.
of what they've done before and kind of like chaotic color with like a 3D element to it, and your brain kinda gets a little confused. I think Spider-Verse kinda kicked off that type of, like, chaotic, like,
Yeah,
colors and flair going on. So, yeah, Mary says that no one really dies. So, yeah, we got a lot of
that's very
people watching this right now. I just wanna
that's what
say, hi to, Travis Mitchell out there on YouTube. Yeah, like I said, after reading this report on the show, and then them getting the season 2 greenlit, it's like,
which
okay, well,
is
they fully believe in this.
exactly. And you know, if we go back to the acolyte when they dropped it, it was very much like this is just one season. Um, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Leslie Headland was kind of like, this is just like a one and done season. It was like, this is kind of a standalone thing. And it was like, okay. And then you end it and you just kind of go, well, no, there's more to tell. And then, of course, it did not go anywhere. So this one, they've already said season two is happening, which I'm not going to lie. I'm like, man, don't push. I mean, like I said, we've got a lot of Maul. We know how Maul ends. It's like, what else are they going to do in the middle of this season two? Unless it doesn't inherit, season two has to be about Crimson Dawn. Like that has to be about that whole bit in the Solo era, and maybe that's where season two picks up, is after Solo, and then we see Kira and him together, and maybe we see finally how Kira dies. You know what I mean? I mean, a spoiler alert. I don't know, but like that's how I could see a season two happening with Maul. Um, but like you said, the artwork and the animation looks tremendous. And it's funny to think once upon a time when I first saw that teaser for Clone Wars, I was like, this looks terrible. This looks horrible.
You thought it looked terrible? I thought it looked pretty good.
What back no, back in the day, back in
Yeah, back in the
2008,
day, I was like, wow, that's actually like
I was
3D. It was blockish, but I mean,
I think I was just confused. I think I was just like, what? Why is this? Why are they doing this? Because I was hoping for a live action Clone Wars movie. I thought we were going to get Ewan and Hayden Christensen back, and then that's what that was going to be. But then I was like, okay, a cartoon, and then it just grew and it became actually a very, very important piece of Star Wars. And it's one of those things that I don't know, if you start with Clone Wars, you're going to be very happy because it ties into everything in Star Wars. So no one really dies. You're right. Yeah, if you I'm about to say, if you die on screen, that's no promise in Star Wars. They can find a way to bring you back in a prequel or something like that. Um Mary says season one set up talent. Season two is Vader destroying everything Maul accomplishes. That's why he's terrified of Vader and runs, and ruined by rebels. Hmm. All right. I like the sound of that one a lot. Uh, I don't know. There is room to play, and the more time that passes, as we get closer, the more I'm like, okay, this might be a really, really good show. Um, I'm excited. Okay, so okay, you keep talking about this article, David. Could
yeah.
you please read the article now?
Yes, I can read it now. All I have to do is bring it up.
Oh boy. Oh boy. He
Go
didn't even
past
have
all
to.
your memes that you just sent
I don't
to the
send
whole team.
memes.
Gifts.
Zach sends the. Oh, I send. Yeah, I send the gifts. Yeah, that's me.
All right. So this is off of X. Looks like it's from the Star Wars Holocron, and they're verified. If that means anything to you, they say we've seen the first 8 episodes of Maul Shadow Lord, and can confirm it elevates Star Wars animation to incredible new heights. Something I was looking for. The series is darker and more serious than any other Star Wars animated show, feeling more akin to Heat and The
Oh,
Dark Knight than Clone Wars or Rebels. It's very
what?
dark. Yes. Sam Witwer is phenomenal as more calculated yet still deeply vengeful Maul. That's what I was banking on. The show does well to deepen our understanding of Maul, which I was hoping for, without redeeming him, which they cannot do, primarily through a number of fascinating philosophical conversations about the Jedi, which I always welcome. Jedi, Sith, and the state of the galaxy, which is all stuff that we kind of think about in our everyday world.
Mhm.
It mirrors the drama and tone of Andor. Super
Oh,
serious, super dark, while leaning into the mysticism of the Force, which I welcome, and the enduring franchise theme of masters and apprentices, which is central to Star Wars, which is key. That's what Star Wars stuff is. The changes to the animation style bring an intensity and aggression that match the tone of the show and the psyche of our lead character. Fantastic. Devin Izara and Brander Lawson make for compelling additions to the Star Wars galaxy. Always welcome new compelling characters. It makes sense why season 2 has been commissioned so early. This is a huge win for those who have loved Maul since 1999. End of article.
Ooh, like Heat and The Dark Knight, which is funny because Christopher Nolan famously said that he watched Heat back in '95, then every movie since then has been trying to copy Heat. But I that is hype. That is exciting to
It's
hear.
high praise. If that's
Yeah,
all accurate, this thing's going to be super successful.
yeah, and it's a show about Darth Maul, and it's like, and it's one of those. He's one of those characters that, like it said, is beloved, which is a weird thing to say in Star Wars, but it's one of those characters you want to get right. It's one of those characters you don't want to fail the fans with. And if this article is true, we're in for a really, really, great show and a great story. And comparing it to Andor is now, unfortunately, is going to be the standard for a lot of
Yeah.
things Star Wars related going forward. Is it better than Andor? And so the fact that they already compared it to Andor, I think is saying a lot. And yeah, I'm more hyped than I was 5 minutes ago. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what, April 6th. And by the way, midnight, they're really gonna drop it at midnight when Andor dropped at 5 Pacific. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make any sense
It does make
at all.
sense.
Okay, why does it make sense?
It makes sense on two counts.
Tell me.
First count that doesn't matter too much. All their animation they drop is at 12 p.m. Pacific or 12 a.m. Pacific, right? 12:01 a.m. Pacific,
Yeah.
which is essentially 2 a.m. my time, Central in Texas. So there's one. The second thing is this show ain't for kids.
That's where my
They
brain
don't
went.
want families to wrap around the TV at 7 p.m., 6 p.m., 5 p.m. and watch this show together,
Yeah,
which is a great sign. It is
yeah,
animation, but it's not traditional. It's very chaotic.
it's
Lots of
dark.
reds, lots of darkness.
And then even in some of the trailers we've seen, he's murdering people. Like, he's straight up murdering,
Straight
you
up
know,
murdering people.
people in the show. So it's like that was where my brain went when I was like, why are they? I know, and Mary said they always do that with animation, which is true, but it's like, but you did Andor and Skeleton Crew not like that. And it's like, you
Right.
already did those two not like that. So why not just continue the animation not like that too? But who cares?
Going
But
back
yeah,
to your point of one and done seasons,
yes.
very, very, very smart of Lucasfilm to announce season 2 because now more people can get invested into season
Yeah.
1 because there's a whole nother season coming.
Yeah, we're already promised that the story will continue.
Yes. We all know Maul's fate, and that can be a major disadvantage or it could be an advantage. But to me, the way they're swinging this thing, I mean, I'm super excited. I from what we just heard from that, um, I'm really gonna want to watch at 2 a.m. You know,
Isn't it crazy that Star Wars
and it's 2
can,
episodes per night.
yes, yes,
That's
2
the
episodes
other
per night,
wild thing
mm,
about this. So
and
I'm gonna be very bleary eyed the next day.
yeah, every Tuesday you're gonna see David very, very tired, and, I forgot what I was gonna say, but anyways, I'm excited for this thing. It's gonna be really, really great. Um, are you guys doing reaction podcasts to the mall episodes? I think we're gonna do a post show like in the evening, because it'd be crazy to kind of podcast. I know for you in Australia, it'd be a good time for us to podcast around 3 in the morning. But for everyone else, no, we're just gonna wait until the next day to talk about and do our breakdowns.
Yeah, initially
Um,
I think we were thinking Mary and Zach will do the reactions, but I think I might want to be on there too because I think I'll watch and try and dissect it and see what they give us. It sounds really, really great at this point. Um, I'm guessing some of the media have seen all 8 episodes, and a few influencers were flown out to go see the first 2 episodes at Lucasfilm, which did that happen tonight? I don't know. Mary, if you can confirm that. But yeah, I'm hyped. That's why we're doing this podcast, because I'm like, this is what Star Wars needs, and what I think we've been waiting for. Something like this.
I remember what I was going to say earlier. Isn't it great that Star Wars can show us a character's demise and then be able to come back a couple of years later and tell a story in the middle, and it still feels fresh and new. Andor is a great example of that. And then, of course, now Maul. It's like it doesn't take anything away from how it ends. You know what I mean? Mary, we need to look up if the influencers were watching Maul tonight.
And it's like,
But
how did Bob Iger green light this? You would figure he would say, "Oh, well, isn't he dead?"
well, he's isn't he dead?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm kind of surprised they
that's
convinced him.
suspicious.
Very.
I honestly think with the prequel, I mean, with the sequel trilogy, like they're still terrified by the reaction, I think. And so I think Bob Iger and crew are all just very weary about anything sequel trilogy related, which is why, unfortunately, if you look at any merch right now, Star Wars, like especially if you go to the parks, if you go to like Star Trader, all the merch is mostly sequel, I mean prequel or original trilogy. There's hardly anything that ever mentions the sequel trilogy, which I think is not
Oh.
cool. I mean, even our badges in Japan, there was not even a hint of anybody from the sequel trilogy on anything. Like even the poster, I think, had nothing sequel trilogy. Not even just like a character or something. It was all Mando, and it was just all of that. And they're like, just don't remember that, which I think is a
Did
very
you
sad thing.
hear about J.J. Abrams?
What did he do?
They're shutting down Bad Robot in California.
Oh, that's right. He's moving to New York, right?
Yeah.
Oh boy. I think it's time for me to figure out what I'm doing with my life now here in California because everyone's leaving. But fun fact though, Ryan Gosling was set to star in a movie by the Daniels, the guys who directed Everything Everywhere All at Once,
Mhm.
as well as an episode of Skeleton Crew. Production got sped. What? Yeah, the Daniels directed an episode of Skeleton Crew.
Oh, I thought you meant Gosling was gonna be in an
No,
episode.
no. Hold on. He's supposed to be in a movie directed by them,
Right.
and it was supposed to start shooting this summer, but Gosling's schedule is full for some odd reason this summer, so he can't do that movie. This was supposed to be like a big deal that he was going from Project Hail Mary, Star Wars, and then this movie. So he's working on something else already, and I'm wondering, is it Star Wars related? Is it, you know what I mean? Is he already working on something else
Did
with
they
Star
pull Maul
Wars?
Shadow Lord and greenlight a sequel?
I don't know. And
I
apparently
mean,
that picture. Oh, so go on.
there's a lot of goodwill right now going towards Starfighter, and everyone's overlooking Mando Grogu.
Everyone's overlooking Mando Grogu.
That's what it feels like, right?
Well, yeah, and also because they're trying to get Shadow Lord, Maul, they're trying to get the Maul show out now, and so that's all they're talking about too. It is really weird that Mando and Grogu. I mean, we're getting a few things. Like if you go on Instagram and TikTok, there's like a few things they're kind of giving us, but a lot of the footage is what we've seen already. Oh, and I was correct about something, which was Favreau said the AT-AT sequence is just a small sequence in the movie. Like that's not the climax of what we're about to watch, which makes me think that is the opening of the movie, the AT-AT sequence that we saw in
Yeah.
Japan. So
I also heard that they really didn't use the volume in the Mando Grogu film,
that's good. I think I
but
don't
they're
know.
not advertising that. Then they
No,
need to advertise that.
I think once May 4th hits, which I hate to say, but once May 4th hits, it's just going to be Star Wars leading up. So that's like 3 good weeks of them just throwing it at our, faces and
Next
everything.
month.
Yeah, it's already happening very, very soon. Before we know it, it's got to be here. Tickets are going to be going on sale very soon because tickets usually go on sale a month in advance. Question: are you coming here to watch it with us? How is this going to work?
I will be coming there.
Okay, so, Mary, I think she's listening. Are we going to the El Capitan, or are we going to go
We're
to the
going to the El
Chinese theater?
Capitan.
I don't know. I kind of want to go see IMAX at the Chinese
No, we're doing
theater.
both, James.
Okay.
We are doing both.
Okay. You better promise because I want to see Star Wars on IMAX. I saw Force Awakens on IMAX and it was glorious. So
Yeah, yeah.
I want to see Star Wars again. Both. Yep. Both of you guys are crazy. Yep. She said we're doing both. Yeah, we're gonna finish at El Capitan, then run across the street to the Chinese theater and get in line. So that's how we're gonna do it.
So yeah,
And then we're going
Travis
to
Mitchell, sorry, James, on YouTube has typed a lot of stuff in our comments. I
he's
think,
talking about Maul, I think.
yeah, I think we should read them if it's cool. What were you gonna say,
Do it.
James?
Go for it. Read it.
Travis Mitchell on YouTube says, when the red lasers go up on the Phantom Menace, Qui-Gon ignites his saber. As they come down, he's in the present. Obi-Wan ignites a moment before he is seeing the future.
Hey, I need you to calm down there.
I can see that symbolism.
And you know what's crazy? Here's the crazy part. The first conversation in episode 1 is keep your focus on here and now where it belongs. And that's when he's like, well, Master Yoda says be mindful. Yeah, only be present is where you need to be. Don't think anywhere else, right here.
Yeah.
Jeez. I never thought about that. Thank you, Travis. What else you got? He's just dropping knowledge on us right now.
Blowing minds.
Blowing
Travis
minds.
Mitchell on YouTube also says Maul never takes his eyes off Qui-Gon, pacing back and forth until the shields go down, foreshadowing a lifetime of projecting his anger on one person, always ending up back in the place he started.
I don't know, man. Sometimes I think George Lucas knew what he was up to. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? It's
I
like
mean,
George Lucas knew exactly
if all this is all really intended, I mean, that's just like genius level. You know,
there's a few things that people have looked back on with the prequels, and you're just like, what? And one of the things somebody said, and I sent it to y'all the other day, which was the first conversation that Padme and Anakin have is, "Are you an angel?" And she's like, you know, who? And then she's like, "You're a slave," and he goes, "I'm a person." And it was like, and in the end, she became an angel and he became a slave again because he became Vader. And I was just like,
yeah.
I was like, don't tell me that. Like, is really? And I've even
Is it
seen
really that
edits
deep?
I've seen edits where people like put, you know, and how Anakin is in episode 2, he's framed the same way in episode 3 for certain moments, like
Yeah,
looking over
and
his
they do the
shoulders.
like quick like
They
cut
they do the
to, and
quick side
he's
by
like in the
side.
same position. He's like looking the same way. Yes, I've
And then
seen
even my
those.
favorite is Leia in A New Hope, the way she smiles and looks away. And I saw an edit where they cut Padme doing the exact same thing. I'm like, dude,
Yes, when
I'm
she's
like,
looking
okay,
down
George.
with the white dress and like
Yes,
the
right.
Japanese like umbrella on the back. Yeah, dude.
I'm over here like, did Luke?
Is it
Did
really that deep? You know, and
did
then you're like, oh my gosh, he did stuff he didn't even talk about. And like,
yes.
if I were to do something like that, I'd be pointing it out. Hey, this is why I did this. It all matches up.
If you pause it here, you'll notice
Yeah.
what I framed him like here
If
in
you
this.
get two flat screens, play them side by side, you can see George Lucas didn't say anything. It's like, yeah,
No,
I'm just at home working on my music.
and the crazy part was I remember seeing that article when they were like the last, you know, act of Revenge of the Sith is some of the greatest storytelling ever put on film. Like the buildup and the structure and how it all meets at the third act of episode 3, they say is in genius writing. Like no, like even if you tried your hardest to make it make sense, you would come short of what George Lucas was able to pull off with that climax of Revenge of the Sith and how it grows. And then you see the battle, the masters battling, the master and the apprentice, or the, you know, both masters fighting the apprentice, and then or you know what I'm trying to say. And then the death of the mother, the birth of the twins, and then also the death of her and the birth of Vader, and it all just goes back and forth. And I'm like, good grief. It's pretty intense.
It's almost like it's more mathematical than trying to kind of please the audience in a way, but he still does please the audience. But the question
But
is,
now
does he please the audience to the maximum amount? Because he's still trying to rhyme it all together, have all the consistency that he needs between the two trilogies and have it all kind of match up. I mean, is his brain really working like that?
it I mean, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, and you got to remember something. You said
Or is
trying to
it
please the
just
fans.
a coincidence of sorts?
There's
No? You know,
the
you think
fact
he
that
looked at
people
his old stuff and matched it up to his new stuff in a way, you know?
well, here's the thing. It wasn't that he did it. It was the fact that he was like, this person would be better shot if we're looking at the frame. And some directors can do this, which blows me away that they can say, okay, this is this moment in this moment, this is this moment in the movie. He needs to be over here in the shadow like this. And then when it comes time for the next movie, he can also be like, I want to do the same thing because now he's going through something similar. So he could be doing that type of thing. But some story beats, some moments, how well they go from all three movies to the original trilogy is
Mhm.
it's pretty insane if it was all a coincidence. I
And then when you
think
think
he
about it, he had about 2 decades to think about all this stuff.
yeah. And okay, you said something earlier, which was pleasing the fans. Like, was that what he was trying to do, or like was he trying to make his own thing? You got to remember when episode one came out, people were not on board with that. The way he was going, the direction he was going with this story, people wanted Han, Luke, and Leia, but in a new generation. Like they just wanted to see the original trilogy, but in a newer time.
You know, I
So when
just
people
thought
didn't
of
get that, what did you just think of?
George Lucas still could make his trilogy that he wanted to, his sequel trilogy.
He can't do that.
Yes, he can.
Yeah. Wow.
AI.
No, we're not
He could
gonna.
do it with that.
Tiger Lily says, didn't Filoni say the story of Maul was more aligned with George's plan and story for him? Yes. So the Maul we're seeing is the Maul that Lucas was trying to build with the original idea for 7, 8, and 9. So that's pretty cool that we're going to be able to see that ending. And I think it's funny that once Filoni found out that Disney was not going to do George's movies, he was like, "All right, well, I'm killing them all off," and you know what I mean? Like, well, he's going in Rebels now, and we're going to kill him off in Rebels. And why are you looking at me
Mm.
like that? Like you don't know what I'm talking about? Because the original idea was Maul was supposed to be the villain in 7, 8, and 9, and
Right,
then
right, right.
once Disney took that shift, he was like,
Yeah.
"All right, cool. Well, now I get to use Maul, and because he's still alive, so he was like, I could still do stuff with him."
I mean, we'll
Uh,
we'll we'll get to see. I'm pretty sure we'll get to see Lucas's trilogy in some form or fashion. It's just a matter of
all
time.
right. In episode 2, Shmi dies before she can finish saying "I love you" to Anakin, which sends him to the dark side. In episode 9, Han doesn't let Ben finish saying "I love you" when he returns to the light. Oh yeah, he says, "I know." The older I get, and the more I watch this, the prequels, the sadder Anakin's story is. It's been there this whole time, but the older I get, the more I understand what. And it's kind of insane that Lucas went with that to be the catalyst to get him to turn to the dark side. And I was like, "Geez," everyone hated the fact that, Anakin was so young in episode 1. Like, why did they have to make him a 9-year-old kid? And then you get to episode 3 and you're like, "That still doesn't make sense." But I don't know. The older I get, the more I'm like, "Geez, that was kind of genius that he made him such a young boy to be taken away from his mother and to always have that love and want for her to go back, and having the Jedi telling him, 'No, you shouldn't have any attachments,' and him just wanting to get back to his mother to help her." And then having that fear of losing Padme also is, and it's like, "Geez, man, like, Lucas, are you kind of the smartest screenwriter in the past 50 years?" I don't
It's one of
know.
those things, it's not smart, but it is smart because he made him so young. When you take away a child from his mother that young, that's still young enough to where super innocent, doesn't know anything,
Mhm.
and it's devastating to a child. I think back on, like, my childhood, I had both my parents the whole time, and I'd always brace for the worst because they were older when they had me, but I had them my whole until I was 18. I had both of them, until my dad passed away, and I remember my brother saying, he's like, "Man," my brother that's 15 years older than me, he's turning 60 this year. He was like, "Man, I couldn't handle mom and pop dying when if I was 18 years old like you." But see, I had been preparing myself for that moment
Mm,
because I knew, like science and physiology, and I mean the common sense of like, yeah, they're probably not going to make it past a certain point like traditional kids. So
Yeah.
I mean, I could kind of see it. Um, but yeah, that's definitely the way to go for that story. Have him that young, and then his mom taken away. Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, it makes sense, but you gotta remember nobody liked the fact that they were like, "Oh, he's gonna be so
Yeah,
young.
and
Why do we have to go back so far?"
it's
And
like I say all the time when we have all the Last Jedi discussions. It's like you got to get your vegetables at some point, and that's your vegetables. You know, you don't
but here's
want
the
to
thing
hear it, you don't want to see it. It's not the laser swords, it's not the starships, but you got to explain the story. It is a movie.
but
It's
but
there's
but here's
acts
the
in the
funny
play.
thing. Enough time has passed, and like I said, when I watch it, I see it differently to where it's not even the vegetables, it's the story. It is the story that Lucas was like, "This is how it happened."
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, for me, it makes so much more sense now that he did it that way.
right.
And the fact that he made it super political as well, and everybody was like, "Oh, I don't like the whole Senate thing. I don't like the whole I don't like all the senators and
It
the
was there the
politics."
whole time. It was in the
What is
original trilogy.
I know, but but people didn't wanna see that, and even I was like,
Yeah,
"I don't understand the point of this," but now the older I get, I'm like, "That is the craziest thing George Lucas did, was to say, it's trade disputes," which, by the way, is funny that we're still talking about trade disputes to this day, and tariffs and everything, and he was like, "We're gonna get political, we're gonna get, we're gonna get with the senators, we're gonna understand what they're doing," and you're just like, I don't get it, but then you need all that so that when you get to the war in episode 4, 5, and 6, it all makes so much more sense how it all fell apart. And
and it's also
it's
the older you get, the faster time speeds up. So when he was talking about all the politics in the original trilogy, it was very quick, like
yeah,
one-liners about the Imperial Senate and,
yeah.
the line from the boardroom there. Um, and when he got older, I think he more compensated for that, but the setup needed to be done because there was the big Senate chamber that was gonna
Mhm.
be a recurring thing in all the episodes. So yeah, I mean, we're looking at
It
this thing like it's getting better over time, not just with the fans, but with the study and the dissection of it all.
and yeah, like I said, when I watch the prequels now, they have gotten so much better over the years to where when I watched, like I said a couple of years ago, I watched Revenge of the Sith, and it hit me. I was like, this is one of my favorite Star Wars movies. This is like top 5, even 3rd, maybe favorite Star Wars movie I've ever seen.
It's
And
still not for me. I had
I
such a lofty expectations for it, and it
don't
just didn't meet them.
I don't
That's
know.
just like a me thing.
It's gotten so much better after all these years.
Because I was
And
dreaming about the volcano, sequence,
yeah, the
man,
molten pit. I
back in
was
the
thinking about this.
'80s,
Yeah, me too.
and I was like, "Man, young Obi-Wan, young Anakin." It's just like 2 gods fighting, you know?
But still to this day, that lightsaber fight is considered the longest sword fight, quote unquote, in movie history between
No
Anakin
stunt
and
doubles
Obi-Wan.
too.
What was that?
No stunt doubles, right?
No stun double. Yeah,
With
well, I mean, they
with
did have
the
a few.
with the sword.
Yeah,
The
and then
falling sequences, yes, right?
but the majority of
The
those
actual sword
fights
play.
was them doing it. And like I said, it gets better. Okay, hold on. Let's see. We got some comments here. It makes sense. Anakin being such a generous, innocent kid, perfectly played by Jake Lloyd, really emphasizes the tragedy of his faults becoming Vader. Hope that makes sense. And another thing, there's the great line, "You're a slave," and he says, "I'm a person and my name is Anakin" in episode 1. And then in episode 6, Luke says, "I understand that you're once Anakin Skywalker, my father." And he turns to him and says, "That name no longer has any meaning to me." And you're like, "Oh my gosh." When
Stop
he
it,
was a
Jake.
kid, that was him. That he was like, "I am a person. My name is Anakin." And then all those, he's like, "Nope, that name means nothing." You're like, "Lucas, you son of," you know what I mean? Like, that's great, great. Time marker, please. Oh yeah, Last Jedi was mentioned, so we got to do a time marker. The veggies is despite Obi-Wan and Yoda mentoring Luke for a couple of days, we can forget Luke was raised for 19 years by his aunt and uncle. So when Luke suddenly becomes grouchy, dismissive of the Force and the Jedi, milking creatures living off the land in a homestead, we realize he became the most prominent male figures he had. Owen.
Whoa.
Whoa. Are you chat GPTing this stuff,
Is
Travis? What is
Travis Mitchell a professor in college
are
of?
you yeah, what are you like, dude, that is I never thought about that. Yeah, you're right that he became Owen, like, he just became a dude
Don't
who
tell
was
me
just
Ryan Johnson's a genius.
okay, I'm not gonna
No,
mention I'm
James,
not
we're not talking about that.
not talking about that. No time marker there, Mary, you don't have to say anything
Craig
about that.
5 is rolling over in his bed right now.
Literally rolling, like, he's about to text us right now, like, "Yo, stop talking."
He's about to
Stop
pop
talking
in.
about what you call it? The lightsaber light wasn't that lightsaber fight was incredible. Yeah, Anakin versus Obi-Wan. It kept going.
But didn't it make you mad in the marketing when they're swinging and they slap blades and that was it? We didn't get more than that.
I think for me, I was just like, I want to see the moment. I want to see the moment he loses the fight, and so for me, I was okay with the one because I'm like, just get to the moment. I want to see, and when it happened, I was happy. And then when that helmet went on, silence, and then you hear the breathing of Vader. I remember I was like, that's pretty cool.
I want to touch on this though.
What do you got?
Travis Mitchell on YouTube says, I want to spin off about the Zubumafu lemur looking thing that's with Maul on the junkyard planet. Haha. Very interesting you bring that up, Travis Mitchell.
Uh-oh.
Because I think about that lemur now and then. I don't know why.
That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard you ever say. Just want you to know.
So that lemur got popular when my kids were little kids and we didn't have cable. So I think it was either on like NBC or whatever on Saturday morning. I'd turn on the TV and I'd see that thing and I'm like, that thing's very lifelike for, I know it being a puppet. And they always had like the Steve Irwin type guy there and like hop on his shoulder, or whatever. I think we're talking about the same thing. And then the title of the thing was called Zubumafu. And I think there's like so many jokes out there about Zubumafu.
Zubumafu. I've never even heard of this.
You never heard of it? Okay, well, you didn't have kids. You were what? You were in high school?
What year?
Early 2000s.
Yeah, middle school, high school. Yeah. Where were you in 9/11? I'm just joking. Let's just go there.
Who sent you here? Who are you?
I sense a disturbance in the force.
Oh,
I did not say anything, Craig. I'm not going to say anything. One day you and I are going to battle. Just kidding, we're not. No chat GPT. This is how my brain works.
Going down in Vegas at the MGM Grand.
You know, one thing I loved about I'm not going to say it. Never mind. I'm not going to say it. Because it's about that movie. I don't want to say it. No, I just love.
We're a Star Wars podcast. You can talk about Star Wars, James. It's a safe space.
The one thing I loved about The Last Jedi, the setting of Ahch-To, which is introduced in the Force Awakens. So don't get mad at me that it was in Force Awakens when you see Ahch-To, is that it's an island surrounded by water on all sides. Luke and Rey grew up on a desert planet, just surrounded by sand everywhere. Mm-hmm. And then to see that now they're both in a place surrounded by water, I thought that was a really nice setting. Time marker, okay, 48:37. Last Jedi was mentioned. Okie dokie. Anyways. Hi, hello.
Mofa, JJ Low, Hossein Dash of 9PO. Hi, hello.
Hello.
On YouTube.
What else? Oh, my favorite when watching X-Men, okay, we revealed Deadpool is hilarious how much inspiration they took from the Phantom Menace. No, I love that Ray Park in X-Men played Toad and he got to spin the staff around just so people knew that it was him, that it was Ray Park.
Is that why that spin happened?
I'm pretty sure because there's no reason for that. Because he literally spins it around and looks at the camera and you're just like, why did you do that? And then you're like, oh, because it's Ray Park, because that's what you do.
He does kind of a twirl when he's a headless horseman too. And
he does some badass like sword like fighting that it's pretty cool. And I remember when I saw that like behind the scenes, I said, no way. And then it was Nick Gillard was the stunt coordinator for Sleepy Hollow. So that's why he was like, oh, I know a great fun fact. Everybody. Oh, wait, didn't we have this trivia? Like if we say Benicio at the booth, you get like a prize or something. You remember that? Do you remember that game? It was oh, I
All of
just
the
gave it
listeners are
away.
gonna show up. Hey, if we said Benicio, you're gonna give us something cool.
Benicio, did we get something? But no, it was who was originally supposed to play Darth Maul in episode 1, and it
Give away
was
the
it was
answer.
yeah, it was Benicio del Toro was supposed to play Maul, but he said when he got another draft, all the lines that were promised were gone, and that's when he left the project.
There was also another thing Benicio del Toro was gonna do that somebody did in his place. I forgot. I'm trying to think. I'm going through the
Was it
Rolodex right
recent?
now. Like maybe last decade?
Oh, geez, I don't know.
Was it like Sicario? Like
Well, no, he
they
wasn't
casted someone
Sicario.
else?
No, he wasn't
Well,
Sicario.
yeah, it was like opposite thing. They casted someone else and they couldn't do it, and he did it.
Oh, I see. It might have been
Oh no,
Sicario.
maybe I'm thinking about Khan for Star Trek. Benicio
That
del
would
Toro
have
was supposed to
been
play Khan, yeah,
incredible if he
because
was
kind of
Khan.
like the same kind of like homage
I
to
remember
Ricardo Montalban.
I wanted Benicio del Toro to play the Emperor in Dune Part 2.
Mm.
I was like, when I thought about the Emperor and I'm looking at Denise, like people he's worked with, I was like, Benicio del Toro would destroy at this part. And even playing the Wallace character in Blade Runner. I don't know. Benicio del Toro is one of those actors that I'm like, he can play anything, so put him in everything.
All right, trivia question for you. No
What do you
Google.
got, man? I'm gonna
What
Google
was
it.
Benicio del Toro's first role in Hollywood? Name
Wasn't
the
it? He was a
movie and the
Bond.
name of the character.
Oh, I don't know the name of the movie or the name of the character. I know he was a Bond henchman.
Nope.
Was it what? No, I thought it was. Or I guess that was his like his big role. I don't
Maybe
know.
I'm wrong. I don't know, but this is just in my head.
What do you got?
I think it was Pee-wee's Big Adventure,
Oh,
and he was the dog-faced boy.
no way.
Dude, that's him.
Get the hell out of here. Are you serious?
Let me look it up now.
Look it up. Yeah, post it on if you can
Pee-wee's,
find a picture of that.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
I'm
Let
gonna
me
bring
type
it back to
in.
Star Wars though. Hold on. I'm gonna bring it back to Star Wars after you show this picture. If it's not him, I'm gonna be really disappointed. I just want you to know that.
Duke,
Uh,
the dog-faced boy.
and it's
Benicio del
really him.
Toro made his film debut as Duke, the dog-faced
Oh
boy,
my
in the
gosh.
1988 movie Big Top Pee-wee. Not Pee-wee's, not
Oh,
Pee-wee's
not
Big
because of
Adventure. It was Big
oh,
Top Pee-wee. It was his
okay.
first acting job, and he appeared alongside Pee Wee Herman, Paul Rubens in the circus theme sequel to the original. And I got a picture right here. Let me
Please
see if I
show
get
me
a
this picture.
higher quality picture because this, yeah, it's ancient now. But let me get
Nay, hey,
something.
easy. It
Man,
was
these are
only
like,
1988. Okay, calm down. It's not that old. I was
man,
born
there's
in
not
88. That's
great
why.
pictures. Let me go to images. Let me find the best. Oh my gosh. Okay, here is the best picture. Oh man, it's gonna come up as a video. Let me
Uh,
see if I just save it here. Save
what if we just
image.
tell our listeners to Google it right now? We could all experience it.
Well, I can share the screen too. I mean, that's the other thing
Do
I
we?
can do, which let me see.
Come on, you're killing me. I'm like I'm
I'm
shivering in
killing you.
anticipation.
All right, I'm gonna share screen. Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
No, big top.
Oh yeah, whatever. It doesn't want to share. Look,
It
there it
doesn't
is.
want to share. Why does it want to share?
You see it?
Oh my gosh. That looks horrible. And that's an Oscar winner, by the way. Just want everybody to know.
Big Top Pee Wee.
That looks horrendous. Good for him. You know what I mean? Like he did it. He paid his dues. He paid his dog dues and then made it
Gosh.
out.
Yeah.
But here's how I'm gonna bring it back to Star Wars is that one, he was the Last Jedi, but two, he was in a movie that I thought he was amazing in called Traffic, which he won the Oscar for, directed by Steven Soderbergh, who wrote, you know, The Hunt for Ben Solo. See, it's
Big
all
Top
connected.
Kylo.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Kylo's
But
Big Adventure.
yeah.
There was
Anyways,
something else I wanted to
back to
say.
Deadpool.
No. Benicio del Toro does deliver my favorite line in a Star Wars
Star Wars.
movie.
Yep.
He
It's
turns
a
back
great
the camera and goes, "Maybe."
line. And like it like
I'll do
zooms
that to
in.
people in real life.
God, he just looks and goes, maybe. And I remember, never mind, I'm not gonna talk about it. But anyways, good for Benicio del Toro. I was so happy when he was in Star Wars. I was like, yay,
Yeah,
another Latino man
he
in
needs
Star
to
Wars.
return. Yeah, like Oscar Isaac says, the cabal of Latinos. Hopefully we can join one day, James.
That would be
Hopefully we
great.
can make
That
it through.
you know how people say like it's a dream come true? That would be a literal dream come true to be in Star Wars. Like that would be I don't know what I would do after that. I would just be like I was in Star Wars and that would make me so happy. I think the
So we
other
have to
thing
tell
like
that to our listeners.
what was
We're on
that?
a Star Wars podcast. It would be my dream to be in a Star War.
Yeah. You know what's funny though? Here's what would be really funny is if one of us does get in a Star Wars movie, we would just have to stop like one of us would just stop podcasting and we could never say a word
No,
to
I
anybody.
know some podcasters that got into a Star War.
Would you stop
They're still
calling?
they're still podcasting. They're still online. Nothing changed. Nothing changed. You know?
True, but no, I'm talking. I don't want to just be one of those characters. I want to be a character. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
you
I
want to
want
be
to be yeah,
like a Han Solo.
yeah. I want to be one of those people. One of those people that I do a couple of movies and then I'm just like that character
And
for
you
the
are an
rest of my life.
actor and you can
I'm
act
trying,
very
man.
well. Okay, let me ask you this though. If you do get
Oh boy,
cast, could you act in a Star Wars film?
I would.
Or would
I
it be
would
too overwhelming? Would it be too much?
no, only because I have been on a few sets before, even
Mhm.
commercials and everything. Every set is the exact same, whether it's a commercial, whether it's a short film, whether it's a feature film. All the same people, the same way it's run is the same.
But it's
So
not Star Wars though.
but I feel like once I get like to the set, I'd be like, oh, this is a little scary. But then I'd be like, oh, this is just another show. Just know your lines, know have an idea what's going on and show up on time. Like that's and apparently that's what Tom Hanks said. Like that's the greatest advice he ever received was know your lines, have an idea what you're doing, and show up on time. And you're good.
Is acting that easy, James?
It is.
It is.
It's literally those three things. And yeah, so that's how I would treat it. I would do my homework, know what I'm doing, know my lines, and I'd be there on time. And I would, but here's where I think they would get tired of me is I would say, hey, what's your next project? I will work in the office. You know what I mean? Like I would just be, I would tell them I am staying in Lucasfilm from now on. So please, I'm going to work here, and that's where I would be annoying to them. But I want that James Herrera action figure. Thank you very
We can
much.
have
That's really
one made in Vegas and ship it out to you, Matt.
no, that's weird.
No, it's not.
James would make a great X-wing pilot. You know what? I want to be I forget what his name was, the Y-wing pilot who read all his lines while he's shooting the movie. Like, so
On the
like,
console.
you know the character I'm talking about, right? He's the main Y-wing pilot on A New Hope. He goes switching to targeting mirror. And he keeps looking
Oh
down,
my
and it looks like
gosh.
he's doing the controls. He said, "I'm literally reading the lines as we're going because he goes, it was so fast. It was so like we need to go. Do you know your lines? Who cares? Just read them." And so now when you watch A New Hope and you see that Y-wing pilot, he's literally reading the lines
Mm.
while he's talking.
You
That
know
would
what,
be
James? When we're
what you got.
talking about you being in a Star Wars film, I kind of see you more of like a scoundrel Han Solo type.
Ooh,
I
that's
can
like
see
the
you
best.
with the belt and the blaster and the vest and being like very like short with people and with like one-liners
You
and
don't have to say short, all right? You could have just said being, quick-witted. You don't have to say
yeah, quick.
short.
You know what I meant. But yeah, I mean, I would like to see a Mexican in that role.
Well, don't get me wrong, Diego Luna kind of like set that bar pretty high with like some of those
Nah,
costumes he was wearing and some of the ways he was talking. I was like, this is one smooth dude, man. So
yeah, but he's not as like beloved as like a Han Solo is. I
yeah.
think we need another like Han Solo, like you said, quick-witted and just very kind of combative. And
Hmm.
I think that would work. I think you'd do really well there.
Well, I hope someone at Lucasfilm watches this podcast, and we're gonna see Amon in San Antonio here in a couple of
Yep,
months.
that
Maybe
is true.
maybe I could be like, hey, dude, I know it sounds weird, but I've like you posted videos right down the road from me, so just let me know, and we can go hang out or something. Yeah, he posted a video. He was down. He was down. Sorry, he was down Sunset Boulevard, and I was like, hey, that's literally right down the road from me. But
Should
anyways.
have just walked over.
Should just that would have been weird though. Like, hey, sorry,
No,
story on
it's not,
Instagram. Can you do
James.
it? It's weird. I got a haircut, so I hope he recognizes me when I see him again. So, because that was the one thing he noticed about me was the fact that our hair was both long and we had a beard. So,
Yeah, I want to see him on stage at SpaceCon now with the lightsaber and twirling it and stuff like he did on that one clip with General Grievous at a con.
that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. All right, let's read more Travis Mitchell comments.
What do we got?
I see one from Mary though.
Oh, she's
She
yelling
said
at us.
season 1 set up for
I
Talon.
read
Season
that. I
2.
read that.
Oh, you did? Oh, my bad.
Yeah, like 27 minutes ago.
The Acolyte.
I didn't read this one.
Travis Mitchell on YouTube says, as for Acolyte, there was that Senator Rayencourt who questioned the ethics of the Jedi Council. Season 2 would have been interesting to have a Senate representative on the Jedi Council.
Yeah, there was so much potential with what they could have done with that and to introduce more of the politics in Star Wars and to see how weird it was that the Jedi got involved so heavily with the Senate. I feel that was something really good to explore. And one of these days we'll get that.
Travis also says, imagining the Jedi being so scrutinized that a Republic representative is on the council when they make decisions. That's something we haven't seen.
I think, yeah, it's one of those things that it's the more time that passes and you think about the Clone Wars and how the Clone Wars started and how the Jedi, who were the guardians of peace and justice in the galaxy, are now generals in a war. You know what I mean? Like that's such a crazy jump, and it's fascinating to me. Like if someone will ever really tell that story of how that all started. James, what's the picture on the wall over your right shoulder? I think I see lightsabers. Which shoulder? Oh, it's I mean I mean this one right here. This is actually a Last Jedi poster. And I have a really fun fact about that poster, but I'm not going to say anything. But that's a really cool poster I have right here over my shoulder. What else we got? It's called Shadow
Travis says it is called Shadow of Maul. I could see this building to him training Kira. Then it be becoming her show.
Season 2, right? Is that what he's referring to? Season 2 being called Shadow of Maul, meaning she's Kira, like she's the shadow of him. I think that'd be a really good way to end the first season is introducing Kira and like maybe even showing that scene from the end of Solo as the ending of season 1, and we all go, oh, this is how it's all like. We see Paul Bettany's character as well. Dryden Voss shows up. I think that'd be pretty cool for this, but I don't know. I don't want to get too what's what I'm looking for. I don't want to get to too many fan theories because then
yeah, Travis with some great comments tonight. He also says, is Maul going to do a magic trick, make one of his horns disappear?
Is he missing a horn when we get to Rebels? I have to look. I forgot. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he loses a horn, which is a horrible thing to happen to somebody like him.
Matt says in Australia, they need to do more adult content for those of us who are in our 40s and older.
Which is what I think this Maul Shadow Lord, like this is for the millennials. Like this is for the millennials and the older generation who were there in 99 to watch The Phantom Menace. So, yeah. Ooh, Matt's writing a book. If my book ever gets made into a movie or streaming series, James has a role in that. Oh, man. And then Mary asks him what it's about, and she says it's a sci-fi book set on Earth in the near future, alien invasion with inspiration from Star Wars, Star Trek, and the Da Vinci Code. I like everything you just said right now. So
Yeah.
I want you to even write it.
I'm writing a virtual book in my head. It involves The Matrix, Star Wars, Harry Potter,
You told
X-Men,
me
all
this
the
one.
things we love.
Yeah, you told me this one. I'm actually writing. I'm getting putting down notes and putting down a structure for a book I want to write, and I'm actually going to do a. I'm going to pull a Star Wars and start in the middle to tell that story, and then go back and say what happened 65 years earlier, and then go and then do another the finale of it all. So yeah, I'm currently working on something as well. Look at us. We're all writing. We're all trying our best. It's written, but editing is taking forever. Jeez, I can imagine. That's cool. Yeah, well, let us know when you're done. I would love to read that. That sounds amazing. On the Man Solo 17 says,
Hand the
"Yo."
man.
Oh, Hand the Man. Oh, you're right.
He says,
There's
"Yo." We talked to him the other day. He changed his like handle on the spot.
oh,
I
he
don't think you're on the,
did.
yeah, I don't think you're on the
It
podcast.
wasn't
His
there
handle
yet.
was like something from when he was like really young.
And he was like, "Wait a second."
Some guy on Facebook, Craig Norberg, he says George
Or-
absolutely nailed trauma, and having his mother die in his arms could cause someone to split.
Yeah.
And that's the first time Vader's theme comes out. Damn, trauma causes multiple personalities. I wonder how many personalities I have.
I that's okay. We're just gonna keep going.
Because I've been through some trauma.
I've been through some trauma as well.
Yeah.
I wonder if I have
Like
any.
both of our moms have died, not in our arms, but in
Yeah.
hospital situations. Um,
You want to talk about
you want me to talk about my trauma?
what was that movie? The Wedding Singer. He's like, I heard your girl left you on your wedding day. That was so cold. You must have felt terrible. No, it felt great. Thanks for bringing it up. You know, he's like, my parents died when I was young. You want to talk about that? He's like, why do we want to talk about that? He goes, I don't know. Anyways, I'm not writing anything. Well, you should be writing something, Mary. You need to be writing the next best story about somebody who goes to Disneyland all the time. That's actually fun. A couple that meet at Disneyland and they spend a whole day together. You should write that one.
The Chris.atx on Instagram says nice TLJ poster, James.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I have a few. I need a Rise of Skywalker one, then my collection will be complete. I have a book concept. Oh, we're all doing this. We're all writing books. Okay.
Everyone has a book.
I have a book concept about a Russian woman living in New York City during the Cold War scare in the 80s. She gets evicted from her building and decides to live in an alley as protest. Okay.
He is a professor in college. I was
That's
right.
That's a really dark. Mary, I am not posting that. What you just wrote in the comments. Don't you dare, David. Do not post that.
What did you, Mr. Pibb?
No, the one that she just wrote at the very bottom.
Oh man, there's a lot of comments here. Oh, this one, raise your hand if your mom passed away at a young age.
I wasn't young.
I was not young.
How old was I?
I mean, it was in 2014. So if you just subtract 6 and 4, so 10 years ago.
I had just turned 30 when my mom died, so I wasn't young.
But my mom had like Alzheimer's dementia, and we pretty much lost her in 2006 because she just couldn't remember certain things and that whole thing. So
anyways,
on a lighter note,
Travis is finishing his synopsis. Ultimately, her time there prevents the garbage truck from coming every week to the point where the building garbage takes up more and more of the alley. Oh, I see. It's a whole thing. Okay, that's her form of protest. Mary says, I'll write a book as a girl that goes to Japan, meets her best friends, joins her podcast, and then travels around the U.S. going to cons. I feel like that would be a great.
You mean your real life, Mary? You mean what a biography?
No, that's an idea. Oh,
I'm never gonna make movies, so I guess you can steal it. But
oh
my
boy, here it
idea and my dream is always to do this under Lucasfilm for that studio because it is kind of a that in that same vein of like it's more kind of Amblin, and it does steal the original title of ET. You know what that was?
what, a boy and his friend or something? A boy,
No, A
what was it?
Boy's Life.
A Boy's Life.
I'll
Yeah.
call the movie A Boy's Life. We're doing movie pitches now. So it's essentially me. It's a stop making jokes, Mary. You're making James laugh here. So, okay, it's essentially me. I wake up, I go to school, it's very mundane. And what I was told when I was younger, all the way in the first grade, I remember this man. They're like, he daydreams too much. He's dreaming about stuff. And I was always dreaming about like the cartoons, Star Wars that I would watch at the time. So, what if you go into the daydreams? So, it's like a visual and IP, like just ocular explosion. Like you cover, which they're doing now, He-Man, the Silverhawks mask, Transformers. You set yourself in that, and but I mean, of course, it'd be like a lawyer's like mess because of all the different IP. But do it the way they did it in the cartoons, like the transfer from the Transformer cartoon to live action. It's no, it does nothing for me because it's not the cartoon. It's not those same like building blocks. It's not the blocky Transformers. Go back and do it
Yeah,
that way. And also like Thundercats. We haven't got a Thundercats movie yet. It'd be perfect. Dealing with
that sounds
ordinary situations and then daydreaming the
and
thing,
going
and it all
into
bleeds in together. Yeah.
okay. I like that. You should write it, dude. You should write it.
Yeah.
This is actually a comedy. Okay, Travis is still continuing.
Oh
This is,
man.
this is actually a comedy more than anything. It's 1987, so there's a part of the stock market crash. A guy plummets into a pile of trash trying to end himself, but being saved by garbage. That's very symbolic, and I like it. Matt, thank you so much for listening to us. You're awesome. Hope to see you in LA. I mean, we're gonna talk before then, but hope to see you in LA next year for
Matt was also asking
celebration.
what's the time marker. I think Mary said every time you mention The Last Jedi, she says
Oh,
time marker.
I failed. I did not get the time.
Yeah.
When but hey, I did not mention The Last Jedi. It was brought up by somebody else, and I just went with it. Okay, don't. I'm
You
doing
mean
my
me?
best not to bring it up. Yes,
Well, we can bring it up. It's a Star Wars podcast. It's
I
Star Wars
know, but
movie.
everybody gets mad at me for talking about it, and I don't
No,
want
we
to.
don't.
People do, man. People get
Listeners?
upset.
Have you
Craig gets
gotten
upset when I talk about The Last Jedi. So
Ray?
I said Craig.
Oh, I was supposed to say like what?
It doesn't
Oh,
matter
he
who
doesn't
brings
get
it.
upset. He just jokes around.
I don't know, man. He's got. I've seen him. I've seen this vein pop up on his forehead when he's getting on me about The Last Jedi not being a good movie. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think episode 3 is a good movie. We still talk about it.
what? Just kidding.
I saw it with actually the last time I saw it was with one of our Patreon members, Adam. We saw it in Austin.
Oh,
And I was like,
I
dang, this thing is flying. Like that movie felt like that.
yeah. It's I got to watch it at the City Walk at Universal, and I was like, this is great. This is still really fun, and it was cool. It was still really cool to watch. Um, anyways,
So you're gonna read the synopsis of Maul finally?
oh, sorry. Well, it's only just one sentence.
Oh.
I just got like the summary of what it is. Hold on, let me see. There's like another. Yeah, it's just after the Clone Wars, Maul plots to rebuild his criminal syndicate on a planet untouched by the Empire. So that sounds really good and really promising. Yeah, you would not believe the sound, like everyone screaming and yelling when it was finally revealed we were watching, because everyone was like, "What is this? What is this?" And then boom, there he was walking down the stairs, and people started screaming in the auditorium. And I was still holding on and hoping we were getting Luke Skywalker, Leia, and Han Solo show, which I still think they need to do. They probably never will, but I think they need to. That's what I was still hoping for. So when I saw them all, I was a little disappointed, but then I was like, that was a pretty good trailer. And then of course Sam Witwer was on the stage, and then he's like, "Play it again," just like Ian McDermott did. But Ian McDermott's was like crazy. That was the coolest twist when we all looked on the stage and there he was standing and he goes, "Roll it again." I was like, oh my gosh.
I thought it was John Williams at first.
I know you did.
And I was like,
I,
oh,
I was
no,
like,
that doesn't make sense. It's Ian.
yeah, that's what I said too. I was like, why would it be? But if you ever watch the video on YouTube of that moment when that happened, I don't know if it's actually on YouTube, but you can hear the
We
crowd.
posted it, but that's like our most watched video of all time.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, me screaming. Oh, that's so embarrassing.
And you danced
Anyways,
afterwards too, and I recorded it.
yes, the hype level for that was insane. Everybody was so happy. You know what was crazy was they haven't done it since then, but they showed the trailer on the show floor, like not, not just in the auditorium.
Yeah.
And they
Well,
said
they had
all the
to.
well, yeah, they said all the vendors in the entire convention hall,
stop.
everybody shut down to go watch the trailer.
Wow.
And they said no one was buying anything. Everybody was watching what was going to be shown. And it's crazy to think we didn't have a title for the movie until that moment. We did not know what the movie was going to be called until that trailer dropped. And that was, not gonna lie, that was pretty good marketing for them to do that. What a time. 2019. That's wild.
7 years ago, bro.
7 years ago that happened.
7. God, can you imagine that? We could have became doctors.
No, don't say that. If I had a kid right now, that kid would be 7 years old, right? You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. If I had a kid then when that movie came out, it'd be a 7-year-old kid about to go into second grade. You know what I mean? Like, that's insane. Instead, I have a dog, and she's not here. But yeah, I think it's wild.
Wild. All right. Well, I do definitely want to read what they posted about Maul season 2, though.
Do it.
So this is on StarWars.com. You can go check it out. It's entitled "Maul's Story Continues in Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord Season 2 Announce." The next chapter in the animated series from Lucasfilm Animation has just been announced by Lucasfilm President and Chief Creative Officer Dave Filoni. It's the first time I've seen that. Not only will Maul have his revenge, his journey will continue with the second season of Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord. Ahead of the series premiere, creative and executive producer Dave Filoni has announced a continuation of Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord with confirmation of Season 2 in the works from Lucasfilm Animation. Season 1 debuts on Disney Plus with a 2-episode premiere on this Monday. Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord presents fans with a pulpy adventure that finds Maul plotting to rebuild this criminal syndicate on a planet untouched by the Empire. There, he crosses paths with a disillusioned young Jedi Padawan who may just be the apprentice he is seeking to aid him in his relentless pursuit for revenge. The cast includes Sam Witwer as Maul, Gideon Aldon as Devin Izara, recent Golden Globe winner and Oscar nominee Wagner Mora as Brander Lawson, Richard Ayoade as Two Boots, Dennis Haysbert as Master Iko Diodaki, Chris Diamantopoulos as Luti Vario, Charlie Bushnell as Riley Lawson, Vanessa Marshall as Rook Cass, David W. Collins as Spybot, AJ Locascio as Marok. Well, Marok is going to actually have a kind of big role here. And Steve Blum as Icarus. Wow. That's the first time I've kind of read all that. Created by Dave Filoni, Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord is based on Star Wars and characters created by George Lucas. The series is developed by Dave Filoni and Matt Michnovitz. Brad Rao is supervising director. The executive producers are Dave Filoni, Athena, Yvette Portillo, Matt Michnovitz, Brad Rao, Carrie Beck, and Josh Rhimes. Alex Spotswood is the co-executive producer. The Age of Maul begins with 2 episodes premiering weekly at 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, beginning April 6, 2026. So yeah, they're standing firm on that 12 a.m. And there's a bunch of links for Maul Shadow Lord at the bottom. And I just want to tell everyone that, yeah, I'm hyped now. reading
Yeah.
everything that's out there. That cast, wow, it's a pretty stacked cast. So I'm hyped. I'm gonna watch it. We'll see what happens. We'll do reviews on it. We'll post stuff. Maybe buy some mall merch. I think they're releasing every week. Disney Lucasfilm is releasing merch for Star Wars. So
Ooh, that's cool.
maybe we'll get some mall stuff. And mall 3.5-inch action figures, the card backs have been out in stores for a long time. I haven't been in any physical stores in a while, so maybe I'll come across some. And we've given away a lot of Darth Maul action figures. I think at the last Rebel ScumCon we went to. We'll be at this next one too in August. I think I might have a few of them left, so look out for that. And man, it's that time again, James. Star Wars, Disney Plus.
And here's
is
what's
back.
great is we're getting Maul until May 4th. And then you just know on May 4th, they're going to start Mando and Grogu. So from now until Mando and Grogu, it's going to be Star Wars.
You
A
telling
lot
me
of
they
it.
got a plan?
I think we have a plan. I think they have concepts of a plan. No, they have a plan. It's gonna be awesome. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's about to happen with Star Wars.
What's that concepts of a plan come from, Jim?
Don't worry, no, it's a bad.
I just figured it out.
Yeah. And I
I have
remember hearing
concepts.
that. I remember
Yeah.
hearing it and thinking that's the most horrific thing I've heard anyone say. But anyways, thank y'all so much for listening. You have fun? I had fun.
I had a lot of fun. We talked an
Good.
hour and 21 minutes about Maul
Ooh, about Maul.
and our moms.
So if thank y'all very much for joining us. Please check us out on if you're listening to us on YouTube or watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe and comment as well.
Yeah, comment.
Um,
Ask us a question if you didn't get to hear, if we didn't talk about it live.
please.
Put it in YouTube, copy and paste it, do whatever you can, because we want to hear from you guys.
Check us out on Instagram, Star Wars Stuff Pod. We post a lot of stuff there, as well as on X, Stuff Pod, Blue Sky, Star Wars Stuff.bsky.social, Threads, Star Wars Stuff Pod. And also, if you want to follow us on Patreon, please do so at Star Wars Stuff Podcast 2187. We do post some things on there and things that we never share on here at all. So it's really cool if you want to jump on there. Also TikTok, and email us at starwarstuffpodcast@gmail.com. Send us whatever you want us to read, or if you have comments or if you have suggestions or topics, let us know. Facebook, we have a Star Wars Facebook group as well as a Star Wars podcast page. We upload news, memes, people ask questions. It's a lot of fun. And also, if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, give us a review and give us 5 stars, please. It helps us with our rankings, and we just want to spread the love of Star Wars because we actually enjoy Star Wars. And yeah. And also, we have a website, starwarstuffpodcast.com. I wrote an article, 2 articles actually, from WonderCon. So if you want to go check those out.
James has 3 articles right there on the website. So check them out straight from James's brain.
Yes. And I'm going to be writing more here very soon. I might even do like written reviews for Maul each week. So yeah, this was fun. Did you have fun?
Yeah. Also, visit countdowncitygeeks.com. We work with them occasionally.
Occasionally.
Sometimes more than occasionally. I just wrote a review on the Super Mario Brothers Galaxy movie. So check that out. And yeah, for everything outside of Star Wars, countdowncitygeeks.com.
They got you covered.
Yep. All right. And looks like we're still getting comments in here.
No, it's just Mary telling us, do it.
Write all the things.
I will.
All right. For James, my name is David. May the force be with you.
Always.
This is the way.
I have friends everywhere.
Tijuanawanga.
It's a trap.
Fun stream, guys.
It's the mighty Chewbacca.
What day?
All right, now we're going to cry. All right, let's end it.
Mary says, pew, pew, pew.